New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hello and good afternoon. This is Gina. I am blessed to be here with you today as the host of The Joy is in the Journey. And what that is all about is just what the name is. The journey of life is meant to be joyful. So are you having fun? Are you living your best life? And as a life coach, as well as a spiritual practitioner, I am here to know that joy for you and give so many different ideas of how to get there. Normally, the format is that we have different guests come in and they share what's going on in their careers or their modality, their spirituality, whatever it may be. And we will have that format again next week. But for today, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. And I'm going to bring a message that I had given that is resonates with me right now as well. So I invite you to sit back and listen. And this is actually a message that I gave to the my beloved center that I am in now. At the time, I was a guest speaker. And now I am sharing leadership in this beautiful community. And I'm so grateful to be a part of it. So this is from actually 2 years ago at Greater Boston CSL. So enjoy, and I would love your comments. I'm here, and I'll see you on the other side. Good morning.
Good morning.
I assure you by far that it is my privilege to be here this morning. I am very excited to be here, and I'm usually pretty loud. Can you hear me okay? Am I? No, well, you shut that off anyway, so we're safe. If I get too loud, the hands start flailing very Italian. I'm not used to being a lectern, so I am so happy to be here, especially with new people coming in to hear about this wonderful teaching. For me, I found this teaching. 3 separate people in my life actually directed me to Concordia. And no one had ever said, "You'd love my church." No one had ever said that to me in my life. And 3 separate people from different aspects of life that I had no idea knew each other said that to me in a short frame of time. And I said, "What time on Sunday?" Because clearly there was a message there. And when I walked in the door, I knew I was home. I knew this was my family. And, it's one thing to say that of Concordia, because of course that's the building that I go to every week. But I have found that to be the case with everyone in CSL, which is, Centers for Spiritual Living, which is what we practice here. And I know it sounds like, yeah, sure, that everybody says that. But I can tell you, online community where I take many of my classes, whether it's coming into a center such as this, anywhere I've been, the light, the love, the acceptance is there. That is the principle of what we do. And today, of course, the topic is honoring life itself. This month in general, we talk a lot about diversity. And for me, I look at that as honoring life. Now, life is another word that we use for spirit, God, divine, whatever it may be. So life itself is that all that is. And we truly believe that it is all that is. I've heard it said that life is God's gift to you. But what you do with it is your gift to spirit. So I'll ask you, to really ponder that notion of what are you doing? Why are you here? What brought you here? Are you honoring life itself through what you do every day? Okay? And how do we do that? Because we are a practical teaching. We believe in practical spirituality. Now, what does that mean? To me, I'm very plainly spoken. I could speak forever on many topics, more than you want to know. But the truth is, it's more, saying it just like you would say to someone anywhere. And practical spirituality to me means everybody gets it. If you can't explain something simply, then it isn't real. That's how I look at it. And for me, one of the most powerful things of our teachings that really helps me and centers me always is God in me, as me, is me. And that to me is such the basis of what we are and what we do. So spirit in me, which is what gives me breath, as me, how the hands, mind, heart, words, voice of spirit is me. That's how spirit shows up as me today. And sometimes it shines, and sometimes maybe I don't remember that that's my job. So it's really in honoring life, what am I doing to honor this gift that I've been given? How do I live an extraordinary life? So an extraordinary life. To me, I believe that's why we seek, what we're looking for. In general, I think that that's why we're looking for truth. For me, I was definitely always a seeker. I wanted more. I wanted more information, something that I could believe, something that could be practical, tangible, something more. So what makes it extraordinary? Okay? And, I've heard it said that people today are looking a lot more for relief than truth. If you look at our society as a whole, people want a relief from the struggles, the strife, the daily, the suffering, the same crap, different day. I hate that saying. But how many people do we know that live that on a regular basis? See, here we teach truth. And we use that truth in a practical way to create the life that we choose. We are not victims of happenstance. We create our life. So how do you create an extraordinary life? And I am one of those, I want to know, give me ABC. I want to know the simplicity of it, how does it work? And that's why this practical teaching speaks to my heart. I don't want BS, okay? And I am very much blunt and outspoken, and sometimes in classes that doesn't always go over well, and it hasn't always in my lifetime, but here it does. Because I can be who I am. If I want truth, I want to understand truth. How can it be truth if I don't get it? So to me, I look at this and I say, okay, what would it look like? Okay, what would an extraordinary life for me look like? What attributes would I need to embody? Okay, and if it's true of me, it's true of you, it's true of everybody. What are these attributes that I would need? And to me, this is what was most important. These are the ones that I chose as most important to me. I'd have to have integrity. I need to be honest. I'd have to have humility and be self-aware. Now, in self-aware, it comes in many different things. Now, to me, it's the awareness, say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean. I have every right to speak my voice, but not against. I'm not helping anyone when I'm against anything. So part of being self-aware is, what is my side? I was having a conversation even earlier today. Everybody gets upset about things. But if I'm upset about something, there's something in whatever that is that's affecting me. It's never about somebody else. It's about me. And being self-aware, if I want to be in control of my life, that's being in control of my attitude. That's how I show up in the world. That's my character. It's all of my life. If something's disturbing me, it has power over me. Nothing deserves power over me. So I need to look at that in that self-awareness and say, okay, what part of this is bringing out something that is less than the best of me, and why? It's like a tag, those tags in the back, and it's itchy, 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 and you're trying to scratch it. And sometimes it's just that feeling of, sometimes life itself feels like that. Like you're trying to get somewhere else, and there's that struggle, there's something more. Well, this is the more. And that truth and the teaching and all that goes along with that helps with practical tools of how to get there. But it starts inside. The problem is never out there. Okay? It's never what someone else did, what someone else said. I am not victim to anyone. As a child, things may have been different. As an adult, I now have choice. See, part of that is the ownership that I created this. Good, bad, or indifferent. What my life looks like today, it was me. Now, sometimes it feels uncomfortable to say that because there may be circumstances we don't feel good with. Okay? But the gift and the power in that is if there's something that I don't like, I never have to do it again. If there's a relationship that no longer serves me, I now can choose differently. I can treat myself with the self-respect, the self-care, the choices that are going to honor me, and in so, honoring the people that I live and communicate with on a daily basis. So the power in knowing that I did this, my thoughts became things, is that I can undo just as quickly. What no longer serves, I can leave behind. I can claim my power and move forward. So there's a lot to it. When it comes to living an extraordinary life, it's holding the reins of your life. It's including, for me, the one I'm really working on these days is self-discipline. That self-awareness comes with that ability to say, this is what I choose to do. These are my daily practices. These are my tools. I want to do this. This is how I want to show up. And holding myself to that, in that character, in that honesty. Never beating myself up for it. Showing up today, because, guilt, shame, all that stuff, I left behind. I was raised Catholic, and I had plenty of Italian Catholic at that. So I had plenty growing East Boston, I grew up in. So I actually been I'm from local. And everybody lived in the same building, 4 floors, okay? Trust me, I had plenty of guilt and all the things I should or shouldn't do. I'm never going to should you, okay? This is what you choose to claim your power. So what do I choose to show up? Sometimes it's going to be exactly what I wanted. Sometimes not so much. So I work on that from there. Empathetic and caring. If there isn't something between humanitarian and kind, caring, empathetic, I want to care about the people around me. We are one. The world is one right now. Whether we are looking at it that, the Amazon rainforest matters. When the animals are going extinct, it matters. What's going on in our country matters. It's not a question of that. But what am I giving my power to? There is nothing that being against can heal. When I'm angry, I'm not moving forward. When I show up as love and honestly ask myself, what can I be? How can I help this? Going against and fighting someone that doesn't believe in what I believe is never going to help me or a cause. So how do I show up today? Being caring and kind isn't everything you do. It's who you are. And when you do something nice for someone else, more than anything, you get that joy of giving. So I'm not doing it just for the selflessness of the act of. I'm doing it because it's how I choose to live. Spirit through me is flowing. To me, there's no better feeling in the world than when Spirit is using me as the instrument of good. There's things that I've said and done that I know on my own I wouldn't have done. I'm not that good. I'm not that inherently but when I can show up as that, that's a gift to me. So who I am creates my life. The choices that I make, the words that I say, but even more importantly, the words that I don't say. Just because I think it doesn't mean I need to tell you about it. So it's knowing what's mine. What's going to be the highest and best in my life today? I believe that someone that has an exemplary life leads and empowers people. Are you a parent that empowers your children? Do you lead your children to act rightly? Maybe you have nieces, maybe you have nephews, maybe you're a teacher. Are you a leader by what you do? Do you embody these truths this kindness, this way of living, a lifestyle that is going to lift you up and those around you. It's not by telling someone what to do. It's by empowering someone in kindness because you were kind. That's what changes things. Definitiveness of purpose. Why are you here? Now, to me, that has to go there because I'm a life coach. I have to ask you, why are you here? What do you want? Who are you and what do you want? That to me is my two go-to questions every time I meet someone when it comes to life coaching. Who are you, really, not your station in life, but how would your friend describe you? And what do you really want? What are your goals? Where do you want to see yourself? Because plenty of people complain about life. I don't have what I want, and it's not what I saw. Well, what are you planning for? Do you have it? Did you write it down? If you were going on vacation, hopefully you'd have a map. You'd have a GPS. You'd have a destination. Do you have one for your life? How many people go through aimlessly thinking it's going to change, but they're not changing, so how can it change? What's going to be different? You have to be that. So when it comes to a purpose, what is your purpose? Maybe it's love and kindness. It doesn't have to be, I want this kind of a position. Maybe it's to raise a wonderful family and be close to them and have them know that I'm there for them. Maybe it's being in a spiritual community and finding that and feeling that presence and knowing that I can be there and uplift other people. Whatever that is for you, you have gifts. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you're a teacher that inspires the next leaders of our world. What are you here to do? Don't minimize your life. You have gifts for a reason. Are you using them? You can't live an extraordinary life if at the end of the day you feel like, nothing happened today. I'm not expecting anything tomorrow. It's life. You get to be here. Sometimes we learn lessons in a difficult way. And for me, one of the greatest lessons I learned was my sister transitioned. I was 34, she was 37. My only sibling, very close. And every day since, I know I get to be here. She doesn't. I get to be here. And I am living with that purpose of knowing I'm doing enough for both of us. I have that purpose in me, and it changed things for me. I no longer am just alive. I'm alive, and she's not. I get to do this. It changed everything for me in a lot of ways. My whole perspective changed. So there's gifts even in any circumstance. It's a question of, I want to see it. What am I supposed to learn from this? Where's the lesson? Where are the gifts? How do I make something out of this? And more importantly, how do I learn it now so I don't have to keep learning the same lessons over and over again? Because I know, for me, I do that quite often. And the last one is spiritually connected. Now, I say that to me is for me, it's the most important thing. And I'm going to challenge you to think about the people that you know. Think about people that you know that are very spiritual. And I want you to think of their eyes. To me, there's a light in a spiritual person's eyes. They're the window to the soul. There is a light that cannot be there if you're not spiritually connected. You can be brilliant. You can have complete affluence in all ways. But if you are not connected to the power source, the one power, it's not shining. And that light makes everything easier. Everything. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to come through teachings even just like this. Some people walk in nature and they feel that connection, that oneness. There's a different vibration to me at the ocean. Love the ocean. I go there, I sit there, I could sit there for hours. I don't even like sand, but I go to the ocean all the time. I just stay in the car or I sit on the bench, I'm fine with that. I just want to see it, I don't need to be in it. Whatever works for you. Find what's your happy place. What brings you to life? Some people it's working with children. The spirit in them comes alive when they're with children. If you have grandchildren, when they're babies, when they're first especially little, or even your own children, when they're little and you just have that feeling of, that feeling, there's a light in that comes in nothing else. So an extraordinary life is inside first, right? Now when you look at all these things, what does these prerequisites, what do they have in common? Right? None are physical. That whole explanation of all the woods, goods, bees, all that stuff, none of it is physical. It has nothing to do with what I look like. It's who I am. And you know, we're in a society that's it's all about sound bites. The latest cycle, the latest, you know, it's an act for a lot of people. And honoring life itself is honoring everyone. It's honoring diversity in all ways. I don't care what your creed, your culture, your race, religion, ethnicity, whatever your experiences are, whatever your sexual orientation is, whatever gender you are, or not even, whatever your choice, whoever you are, life itself, expressing through and as you, has nothing to do with your physical attributes. A joyous life isn't about the outside, it's all on the inside. But the moment we don't honor people because of what's on the outside, we've cut ourselves off from the joy of the inside. So it's being in a place of honoring myself first. And to do that, you know, there's a song that I love that, as you can see, I love music. There's so much to me in it. It's so healing for me. It speaks right to my soul. And it's fix my eyes. Because it's not ever about them. It's about how I'm seeing them. So I will often go back to that. And I'll be in that place of saying, okay, help me, you know, to be in that joyous, loving space of choice. For me, I learned a lesson. Sorry, for whatever reason, I'm completely dry. It could be that I'm just loud and just keep blabbering, but you know, I won't go with that. Anyway, for me, life is about practical lessons. Practical spirituality is about, I want to know. I'm not going to remember what you say, but I'll remember how you made me feel, Maya Angelou, right? And I learn very much so through hearing and examples, and so I often speak in those ways. I learned a huge lesson when I was in high school. I was a senior in high school, and I was actually either this side or a little bit bigger than this at that time. For me, weight's always been a thing. Everybody has something, that was my thing. And, you know, there was a lot of self-judgment as time's gone on, and I'm not going to say it never happens, but I'm nowhere near what I used to be as far as, in general, I love who I am, and I get that who I am is not what I look like. But for me, that lesson more than anything came through weight. And I was probably 17 at the time, senior year in high school, and my guidance counselor, you know, I'm working with, because I'm at East Boston High School is where I was, and I had to get a scholarship to be able to go to school, because my family didn't have it, because, you know, it just wasn't. But I knew I would. Like, I was using these, I was attracting so much good at that time, and I had no idea how, because I knew it had to be, so it was. So I was using these teachings long before I ever found these teachings. And I'm speaking with my guidance counselor about, you know, basically applying, but also scholarships, because there was one in particular for BU. It's full 4-year tuition. And she says to me, and she looks at me and she says, and you know, I don't think your weight will matter at all. Yeah. I'm like, what? And all of a sudden it washed over me in this panic that had never been there before. I never saw myself as different. I never worried about walking into a job interview. I never worried about talking to anybody. And all of a sudden this woman gives me this, and I mean, a sucker punch would have, you know, been easier to deal with than that at that moment. And that overwhelming, and I say it now and I can feel the chills and I can feel that, it was like it took the wind right out of my sails. What I never thought could be a problem, all of a sudden, what do you mean? And she said, well, I'm sure, you know, and you know, as time's gone on, I've looked at that, and I've looked at that lesson in many ways. You know, you think back, you think and you say a teacher or a guidance counselor certainly should not be saying things like that. But the truth in this matter was she had a weight issue. And she projected her worries, her fears, her insecurities on me. Was that fair? No. But do you want to know what's beautiful? That I was over 300 pounds at 17 years old, public speaking everywhere. It's hundreds to even 1,000 people. And had never thought about that. That people would think of me differently. After that I did. I'm not going to lie to you. After that I did. But the truth is, at that age, to be that size all my life, it's always been that extreme, and to never have had that thought in my mind. What a gift that my family, that life itself had given me. And it's also made me realize that people don't see what we see. Because, people don't ever talk to me about, all my life, people never really, I've said things here or there, and they said, oh, I never thought of you that way. They never saw my weight. People that loved me didn't even see it. And I'd gone up 50, 100 pounds, up, down, up, down, up, down, and no one noticed. And when you go down and no one's noticed 80 pounds, you're like, oh, really? Really? But when you go up, you're glad that they have. Of course, in my mind, I'm thinking, but what a gift that the presence that I show up with has always been, my voice has been bigger than my body. Who you are,
And your heart.
thank you, I tried. Who you are shines when you let it. But when doubts, fears, insecurities, what people tell you, all of those things of what it's supposed to look like, or what we're supposed to act like, or what's supposed to be important. We talk about money as if it's the only thing. Oh, there's bills. Of course there's bills. There's an uncertain future for everyone. So choose to make your own. Don't worry about what's in the account now for 20 years from now. Just take care of today. You're cultivating in your mind. You're attracting. Every thought that you think is going to limit you or grow your future. And the scariest part about it? If you have children or grandchildren or nieces or nephews, you're limiting them by your consciousness. Or you're growing them. An infinite possibility. I don't know where it came from because it wasn't my family. But I know that I always believed that, why not me? Why shouldn't I? No one was going to tell me no. That was the whole, no. And I actually did that almost like a fighting spirit. You're not going to tell, I did it, like, you're not going to tell me no. Whatever was going to be done, I was going to find a way to make it happen. And there was that fight in me. And I think part of it was a denial. There was that place of, trying to be better or push myself more because of, that what I looked like. The insecurities were there, but I wasn't going to play small, and I fought it all the more because of it. Well, now I don't fight it. That's the gift. I can be who I am, where I am. And that was a lesson. And it was a gift of a lesson instead of feeling any kind of anger. Now everybody's had some place or could be a family member that puts us down, or could be work that we don't feel like we're good enough. I'll tell you, when I did get my scholarship, I did go to BU, and I showed up feeling like I do not belong here. There's something, like they're going to find me out. That's truly how I lived a lot of my life. I would be on the outward as if, but inside didn't feel good enough. And it's taken a long time for the inside to catch up with the persona. And I didn't always know that they weren't in integrity. It wasn't a conscious thing. I remember I published my first book, and it took a long time to get it into print. Everything was done, but who was I? I couldn't read. I read very, very slowly, and it was painful. Like it really, and it was something that I was very insecure about. If I don't read books, who am I to write one? What do I have to say? Well, now I've gone on, I've got 3, I've got another one that I'm editing, and it's not about that. It's about knowing that, I am enough today. And I started ministerial school, and there's still that kid from, East Boston, that kid from BU that didn't feel like enough, like I got away with something. and I took my first class, I have never felt so exactly where I belonged as I did in that class. And it's not about above, it's not about below, it's not about anything. I was welcomed and I felt as comfortable as I did walking in this room. For the first time in my life, I am where I'm supposed to be. I'm who I'm supposed to be. I'm living in the character of integrity, of who I choose in the life that I choose to live. Now, Ernest Holmes is the founder of the Common Conversation that we have here. He's actually the author of the Science of Mind textbook. And we are all thinking, willing, knowing, conscious centers of life. We're surrounded by, immersed in, and there is flowing through us a creative something. Call it what you will. You don't have to call it anything, just know it's there. And know that it's there showing up as you today. It's for you in all ways. And we have to open our hands and receive it. We have to feel worthy of. You can only receive what you're willing to accept. I know plenty of people that can't even accept a compliment. It was hard for me to hear you say, what I knew you were going to even say. To welcome me here, like as if, do I belong? There's still that sometimes. We all have that in different aspects of life. I don't have to be someone else. I don't have to speak like someone else. I don't have to act like anyone but me, just for today. And I don't have to prepare all, the word for word. I don't do well when I do that. Let it flow. Who you are is enough. And the more we know that, the more our power radiates into life and attracts back what we choose. Abundance in all forms, beauty, harmony, peace. How can you be at peace if you don't like yourself? If we're not comfortable in our own skin? If we don't know that we are enough? If we're seeking outside validation because we don't have the in? How can we be at peace? And how can we think we're for peace if we're not at peace? You can't bring about something you're not. So if you want to cultivate peace in the world, you have to be that. If you want to see more love, be loving. Joy is why we're here. It's that simple. When we're at joy, we're living the life, we're living that best life. We're living an extraordinary life. That's how you know if you're going in the right direction. It feels good. And when you're not, it doesn't. That's how simple it is. Kids know when they don't like something anymore, they walk away. We're born knowing. So it's just going back to that truth inside, because that's where truth lives. We know that gut, that instinct, that connection that lights us up from the inside, or that we block off sometimes because of the outside. It's all a choice in what we do. We become the stories we tell ourselves. That's what life ends up out picturing. And if we like it, that's wonderful. And if it no longer serves, guess what? We can tell a new story. That was a lesson, that was a chapter, that wasn't the whole story. You cannot have a happy ending if it's to an unhappy story. At some point, you turn the page and start again. Not every chapter is going to be exactly what we wanted, but how we handle it, how we act, not just react in life, is going to be how we claim our power, how we live authentically, how we live joyously. And there are tools that we use. It's a very practical teaching. There is love, there is law. It's very simple. What you put out, you're going to get back. I mean, it's pretty simple. We don't teach anything that's, rocket science, which is good because I couldn't handle that. Although there is quantum physics and all that. And to me, I heard that, I thought, and then I realized it's just common sense. It just needs to be said simply. So the most difficult of concepts can be whittled down for a child. But I had to learn that in my own way. So now I get to teach that to the best of my ability. And know that that's enough just for today. Whatever that looks like is enough. I believe that life is like a mosaic. Does anybody in here like puzzles? Okay? Now what happens if you do a puzzle and there's one piece missing? There is one of you. When you try to change, to conform with other people, you no longer fit. That puzzle of life will be incomplete without all the gifts you have. You're not supposed to look like every other piece. You're not supposed to fit where they fit. You have your own unique spot. And when you look at a mosaic painting, they're beautiful. But if you look up close, those tiles don't look like they would go next to each other. Those are the days of our lives. Some look good, some not so much, and you wonder, how is this working together? But when you take a step back, it's beautiful. But when we try to pretend, or when we don't give what we have because we don't feel like we're enough, we're not being our peace. And we can't have peace till we love our peace. You have to know what makes you the perfect fit in the life that you design. Not somebody else's choices, not somebody else's expectations, your choices. Where do you fit? And if you're not sure, that's when you start doing the work. You start looking within. What do I want? What do I like? It's an exciting adventure at that point. It's not scary. It's all how you choose it. You can begin now to go wherever you choose. There's no time or space that says you're limited in any way. It's a choice. But only as long as you're authentic with you. Because you're not moving forward if you're not. I have worked with people that on the outside had everything and were miserable. And I've worked with people that on the outside had nothing, but they were so content. They were joy-filled. And while I'd worked with them to get the stuff, they already had it. They got it. They understood. They were living a joyous journey on the way to the stuff too. So you get a choice in how you live, but only when you're doing it what I consider the right way. And that's oneness. Be who you are and see the beauty in everything. Against nothing. Fighting against is only slowing you down. Walk your path, your way. Stand for what you believe in. Celebrate diversity. Everything you see. There's magic in everything. I love that we accept all traditions. Whether it be the sounding bowl, there's going to be things that reside with you that you think, wow, that's wonderful. And then there'll be things that you're like, yeah, not so much. Sometimes there's practice, I'm like, okay, we'll go with that today. I'm used to the flow. But sometimes new people are like, well, what's this all about? It's about everything. It's about everything. And I love that, because you don't know what you like until you've been open to it. Okay, I know, we used to at our, we used to have a time that we hold hands. My husband said, that was it, once, he's like, I'm not holding people's hands. Everybody has their own things. Some people like, some people don't. But we are that oneness, that everything is welcome. We'll try anything. And it's a joyful journey to get there. And you don't have to, it's just being open to and celebrating that diversity in all aspects. That could be whatever age you are, whatever your income is, whatever you look like, whatever wherever your heart is, that's what's important. That's what matters. Recognizing divine in all. That saying, namaste, is so beautiful to me. My translation that I love is the Christ in me honors the Christ in you. It's the best of what can be in me. Honors the best of what is in you. And sometimes people act in ways that it's hard to see it. Especially when you turn on the television and you're like, seriously? My job is to love you regardless of what you've done, or what I think you've done, or whatever label I put on. No labels. My job is to be love. And when I can show up as love, I can make a difference. When I'm against anything, I can't. The embodiment of love. It's not always easy, especially if you have kids. There's times you just get to that. As much as you love them, there's things they can do. And if you think that, when they're little is one thing. When they're adults, and they have their own kids, it's like, oh. But I'm in there to be love. It's none of my business. I got my chance. Now it's theirs. If I'm not asked, it's not my place. Sometimes I have to not call. That's how I cannot say anything. Do whatever you have to be to love in any circumstance. And if you're walking into someplace that's going to take that away from you, don't go there. Just don't go there. It's not where you belong. You have to know that for you. You can't allow your character, your integrity, your life to waver for anybody's. And when you feel that it is, it's not where you belong. And you'll know that. Lives in the power of spirit. Okay, I come up here with purest of heart and try to do the best I can, but my prayer is always speak through me. It's not my, it's the, Jesus even said, it's the Father within me that does the work. There's something bigger than I. When I try to use my might, I often fail. But when I do what I'm directed to do, and it happens in an effortless way, and I just allow, I keep it simple. I say, I'll let God be God today. And I don't try to run the show. And I don't try to run how I think it should look. It all works out better. I'm not saying I'm always great at it, but it definitely always works out in a much better way. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet. Ernest Holmes. So I'll ask you, are you living an extraordinary life? Do you feel that now? Are you, when you look at the way that you're, where you work or where you show up in life, is it the best that you want to be? Only you can answer that. And there should be no grief in that, because you're asking the right question at the right time, which is now, which is the only place you ever have power. So you ask that, and if the answer is no, so what do I do now? And that's the next step. You keep showing up as your best self and things change. Because the story you're telling is different, therefore what's coming to you is different. Your life now is an outpicturing of everything you thought and did before. What's coming is what you're thinking now. So you've got that right now, the power to create anything. And anyone that tells you otherwise, it's because they don't know their power. They don't have to know their power. You have to claim yours. You can't claim anybody else's. They don't have to understand. I guarantee you my family thinks I'm crazy. And I'm fine with that. At least I'm happy. You're miserable. You can be wherever you want to be. You be miserable on your own. I love you. I'll pray for you. Have a good day. Label it whatever you want. I'm happy. And it's not perfect, but it's better and better. And I'm great and getting better. That's my answer today. I am great and getting better. And so grateful, because that's where it all comes down to. And I'd like to end with a poem. I lead a peace circle once a month, and this is the poem I read all the time. It's one of my poems. It's called I Too Have a Dream. In my dream, too, we all are equal, and our color, religion, or income defines who we are. Neither country nor region defines us as kin. Whether 2 legs or 4, plant or animal, we were all created of the one Creator, with no greater claim to borrow this beautiful earth. In my dream, we all are one, treating each other with love and respect and living in peace. We are all truly awake, knowing our purpose, to share love and joy, to uplift each other, and in doing so, uplift ourselves. In my dream, we each remember and appreciate each other and truly understand that all is well. And it is, regardless of what it looks like. All is well. And I'd like to now just lead what we call a treatment, scientific prayer. It's our form of prayer. And I'd like to lead us in a prayer. So I offer you to just go within, centering in this beautiful space, in the comfort of right now. I know there is only one. There is one power, one peace, one love, one presence, one infinite power source. And that one is omniscient, opulent, omnipresent. That one is always, in all ways, present. That one does all. That one is in me. I am that one. I am that perfect presence, that harmony, that peace, that love, that joy. I am that. And as I know that opulence, that peace, that love, that harmony that I know that I am an individualized expression of that one. And as I know that of me, I know that of each one here, each one watching live, of each and all. I know that each one lives in perfect harmony, and that in this very moment chooses that highest and best life. In this very moment claims that birthright of perfection, living in joy, joyous anticipation, freedom, peace, love. I know that it is abundant in all ways, that each one is living that abundant and free life. Free, perfect health, perfect harmony, perfect relationships. I know that that harmony, it is like the ocean rippling into each aspect of life. That love, that peace is cultivated always from the inside out. That each one is showing up as that love, that light, that presence right here and right now. I claim that birthright of opulence. I claim that birthright of all there is right here and right now for each one. And as I know that perfect individualized expression of each one right here, right now, I know that as I claim that, it is already done. Each one is living and breathing in that joyous and free life. Each one is celebrating right here and right now in the beauty and love. And I know that as I speak it, it is already done, that the law makes it so. And I celebrate it in such gratitude. I am so thankful. And I say, amen, and so I let it go, free, open, allowing, receiving, joyous, in celebration. I say, amen. And I invite you to join me in saying, and so it is. Thank you for being with me here on The Joy is in the Journey. And I hope you got a message that was personal to you. And if there's any questions, just know that I am here and I would love to hear from you. My email is gina@believingyoutoday.com. Know that I'm available for both practitioner sessions as well as life coaching. So if there's a question or if there's a topic that you'd like to see on either this or the Peace Circle on Monday nights, know that I am here and would love to hear from you. And also, you can look me up on Facebook under my name or CSL Greater Boston. Like us both. For more information, I'd love for you to go there. I also wanted to mention that, we are here on this tremendous platform, that we are here at New Thought Media Network because of people just like you. So go on to ntmedia.org and donate. Everything that you give goes right back into this beautiful network. I'm so grateful to be a part of. So thank you for being here. And I also want to mention that I have a workshop coming up this weekend. And if you are in the Boston area, know that we are here. We are there live. It is honoring your sacred self, who and whose I am, and how to treat me. So if you're similar to what we were talking about in this lecture that I was just played for you, do you recognize the sacred in you? Are you honoring your mind, body, and soul? Are you answering your soul's call? So are you caring for you? And how to do that? So you can
reach out to me. Again, it's Gina@believeinouttoday.com, or my number, 401-580-5800. I always tell people, take a screenshot. And you can either be there live via Zoom or in person. So if you're interested, reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for knowing and being in the truth. And remember that the Peace Circle is Monday nights, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Mountain Time. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. I wish you many blessings and love. Namaste.